Hey Adam, Jason here.
Hey Jason, how are you?
Very good. Adam Wakeman. A little bit of time has passed since I've talked to you, and
It was a while ago, wasn't it?
yeah, I think it's maybe 3, 4 years now. It's time's going so quickly. And how is it going all for you?
It's been great. It's been a busy 3 or 4 years. I think last time I spoke to you, I think we were out on an Aussie tour.
That would be true, yeah.
We've done another big Aussie tour since then, and last year we had the Headspace album came out, which was good. We did a few shows with that. We did the Aussie and Friends shows in the summer, 2012, and then this year we've got the Snakecharmer album, and I'm back out with Black Sabbath. Well, a couple of months, I think it is.
Sounds like that you're keeping super busy. And how is it being on the road with Adam Wakeman these days? I mean, you're no time to do nothing except play music, it seems.
Well, it's weird. It seems to be that the most time I actually get to do anything is when I'm actually out on tour. It's bizarre. When I'm at home, I've got my studio about half an hour drive from where I live, and I'm up there from morning till night. Um, Whether it's, I mean, today I was up there with a couple of the Headspace guys starting to work on the next album. I've got interviews tonight till about midnight. So it's it's busier when I'm at home than when I'm out on tour.
Now, Adam, Snakecharmer here. How long has it been, since this has been going and, the product is, out and going?
Well, I started getting involved about a year and a half ago, but it was in its kind of infancy before that. Mickey Moody and Neil Murray and Laurie and Chris and Harry were kind of together playing sort of Whitesnake songs, more of kind of festivals and that kind of thing. Just not really playing any of their own material, but just their early material, just the Whitesnake stuff. And it kind of the time that I got involved, their management got in touch and said, "Well, I'd be interested." Coincided with the same time that they decided to go into the studio and start working on some original material. And we recorded 2 tracks. We sort of, it sort of gelled quite quickly, and we all obviously got on well together and share the same kind of passion for the same era of music. So it became quite evident that we could probably record and write a fairly good, honest album. So that's what happened.
And something interesting, the track listing on this album. How did you go around making it, and deciding this is gonna be the first one, like My Angel and stuff like that?
It's always a nightmare with any album. It's always difficult to try and choose because, I mean, with this band, there's 6 people and there's 6 opinions on what song should be first and what song should be last. It's always, for me, I always find that if you get the first track right, then the rest kind of follow from there. It's just about getting that first track, and we had lots of different ideas. Accident Prone was going to be the first track at one point, but I think My Angel kind of summed it up. Sums the album up quite well. It's a good opening track.
And with Snakecharmer, is there, 2013 tour dates at all announced?
Yeah, we've got a few dates coming. It's really difficult with everybody's commitments just to try and get a proper tour booked or anything. So what we're doing at the minute is we've booked a handful of festivals, some confirmed, and some we're still waiting on contracts to be signed. So I can't really tell you which, all of them. But we've got a gig on the 23rd of this month of February, which is in Islington at the Assembly Halls. That's basically our kind of album launch show in London. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be a chance to play a lot of the new material. And then we've got a festival on the 1st of September, Wayfest, which is in Surrey in England, which we're going to be headlining the Sunday night. So that's Sunday the 1st. And then we've got a sort of handful of shows in between now and then, really, just in between some of the Sabbath shows when we've got a bit of time off from that. I know there's talk of a few in June, towards the end of June. I think 22nd of June is confirmed in Kidderminster in England, and a couple either side of that. We're just waiting on contracts to sign. So we're basically trying to fit in a few shows around the Sabbath gaps and the other guys' commitments too, and then hopefully towards the end of the year there'll be a proper tour.
Because when you look at the lineup on this band, this one great thing is you get all this wide range of musicianship and lots of years of experience, and you're gonna be, grabbing a lot of fans of every direction to come and see this.
I hope so. I think the thing with this band is that with Snakecharmer is it's got a lot of kind of credibility from the members in the band. I mean, from my perspective, I'm a fan. I was always a fan of Whitesnake, early Whitesnake, and David Coverdale's Whitesnake. Now I'm a rock fan. So I'm I grew up listening to Mickey and Bernie Marsden. My first proper VHS music video was Whitesnake. It was 4 tracks with I wore the thing out playing it, watching Mickey Moody soloing and Bernie soloing. So I think it affects a lot of people, this kind of music, and for us to be able to do some of those Whitesnake tracks justice and produce some new material, I think is great. It's a lovely thing to be involved with.
Now, Adam, let's say in the recording studio, effects and stuff like that, when you go into it nowadays, in your point of view, how has it changed? Has it evolved much since your Ozzy albums you did?
Well, it's evolved a lot since I started the first album I made. I was 18 years old or 17 years old, and it was in my dad's studio, which had a big old Trident 24-track desk. It was using Atari 24-track reel-to-reel 2-inch tape machines, and I remember now, more recently looking back and thinking the amount of time that was wasted in studios when you were simply rewinding tape, to 3 minutes on tape took a minute and a half by the time you found your start point. Whereas now, if you want to go back to the start of a song and re-record something, it's, it's less than 1 second. It's just as long as it takes for you to find the mouse.
Right.
So this album was kind of a little bit going back to sort of your roots, in that we kind of were in one room for a long time, just sort of playing the songs and playing through bits and get tracks worked out. And then, I play pretty much Hammond organ in the whole thing, so that for me is a great thrill. I love playing Hammond, and it doesn't get much more vintage than that.
In the whole outlook of hard rock and metal, do you think that things are changing now, or are they still going as smooth as they ever was?
What generally, or
the whole genre in a sense, like in 2013?
It's always evolving. There's always going to be new bands coming out and new developments of the genre. But I think there is room, as you say, for people that like this sort of music, that like the kind of more traditional 70s style kind of Whitesnake, if you like. That's the sort of band that we are, and we're not pretending to be 17 years old anymore. We're far from it. But the idea of this band is to just be honest and just play good, honest sort of rock music.
And Adam, when you go on tour nowadays, how is it for you? With all the new gadgets and stuff being introduced every year.
It's great. From an equipment point of view, it's brilliant, because certainly with Ozzy, which is taken up most of my time over the last 8 or 9 years, it's every couple of years something comes out which just makes things more interesting. This year, particularly with it was last year actually. Now was the Korg Kronos, which is a great machine, and I sort of got very attached to that on the Ozzy tour. I'll be taking it out on the Snakecharmer shows as well. But for me, it's mixing the old with the new, to have, to be using. I've got a Hammond C3 and a Leslie 145, which I use with Snakecharmer, which is great to be able to use that and accompany that with something like a Korg Kronos, which is the sort of more cutting edge sort of digital side of the musical equipment. So that's I like that stuff. And obviously, the benefits of having modern gear, that it doesn't break down quite as often as the older gear.
Right.
But touch wood, so far my Hammond's been very reliable.
Now, Adam, you look into at all like iPads and stuff like that, because now you can almost play the piano and all that on this stuff. And what's your take on that?
I love the fact that you can do all these things with technology. However, I am still a little bit old school when it comes to using stuff live. Um, I don't like the idea of having a laptop on stage just because um, I've seen people using laptops and using main stage, for example, getting the sounds from the Mac, and I've seen fairly horrendous things go wrong. You know, from going to watch good friends of mine, you know, using it and having to start a computer in the middle of the show is not fun. For whoever's playing it or for the audience, you know. So
Right.
just never want to be in that position, and until you can eradicate any chance of that going wrong, I stick with the machines that are actually, you know, their primary function is to be making music. For example, keyboards are, you know, they only do one thing really. You know, workstations or pianos, they're there to be played. With the computer, you know, it's there to do a multitude of different things, and you know, with that in mind, it just makes more margin for error. So I've never been a big fan of using a computer on stage just because of that reason, really.
And you wouldn't want to be surfing the internet while playing a gig either at the same time.
The temptation. Fortunately, I've kind of, you know, the gigs I do, I really enjoy. But I'm sure there are certain gigs that must be quite, you know, there must be times where you want to check your email or whatever. But for me, fortunately, I'm quite lucky. As I'm always quite, you know, I'm really into the gigs that I do. So I wouldn't really need to be, searching on YouTube for humorous cats falling over or people jumping through ice.
Well, Adam, been a real pleasure talking to you again. And Snakecharmer is a very good sounding album. It's good. The promo that you guys sent me, or Frontier Records, it's very good.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed, Jason. It's nice to talk to you again after 3 or 4 years, and hopefully I'll be seeing you soon.
For sure. And you have a great 2013 with all you're doing with Black Sabbath, etc. And Ozzy. And keep up the great work.
Cool. Thanks, Jason. I'll see you soon.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye bye.